I'm very happy to be here with you, sharing my paper. As you know, we're not supposed to read. I did what I prohibit my students. When they're doing presentation in Spanish, I say to them, do not put everything in the PowerPoint presentation. Do not read. So I dump a lot of information in my PowerPoint presentation. Axolotl, Pre-Hispanic Delicacy, Rejected Monster, and Reclaimed Wonder of Science and Literature. The pre-Hispanic Mexican kitchen is one of extraordinary richness and complexity. Among the foods that are appreciated today by some and rejected by others, there are more than 500 species of animals as well as plants. Among the former, a small patrician called Axolotl deserves special attention. I would call it Axolotl, or Axolotl. Its habitat is Lake Xochimilco, south of Mexico, the city of Mexico. The purpose of this presentation is to analyze how the axolotl, a delicacy of Hispanic and modern cuisines and rejected as food by many contemporary diners, has been reclaimed as an object of scientific study and literary imagination. I'm also interested in analyzing why this biological complex amphibian has attracted much attention from various areas of knowledge. The axolotl is a unique animal because it is the object of culinary, mythical, scientific, and literary practices. My research scope includes the cultural significance this batrachian had for the Aztecs' ingestion and social practices of consumption. I'm also interested in how contemporary culture, how it demonstrates, its presence in contemporary culture through recipes and forms of preparation. Moreover, my paper looks into its presence in scientific research and in the literary imagination. Although there are many studies on the axolotl, this presentation aims to build a bridge between various disciplines that have taken it as an object of study. So this paper is kind of choppy. You have the complete version online that you can read or have read already. The pre-Hispanic cuisine, although in a broad sense, the offal concept refers to the internal organs of an animal for food consumption, it also means crumbly, exaggerated, discarded, or food rejected in the culinary process. The Aztecs' pre-Hispanic gastronomy is now considered as offal by certain gastronomic communities in Mexico, and only reclaimed by the curious, the foodies, and the gourmands. Among some of the offal dishes, there are insect larvas. As you can see here, the chapulines, the charales, the chinicuiles, escamoles. I look for the translation into English. And more, these are meliponas bees, humiles, mexclapique, and opossums, and acosiles, freshwater shrimps, armadillo, huiles, tusas. Some examples of dishes include frogs in chili sauce, the axolotls in yellow chili, Puebla-style axolotls, and mextlapique or axolotl tamal or tamale. But what is an axolotl? The king of the edible animals in pre-Hispanic Mexico, and one of the most offal one, is the axolotls. The word comes from the Nahuatl axolotl, which means monster of the water, and also referred to the god Axolotl, also known popularly as the fish that walks, due to its amphibian characteristic. The axolotl has an ugly appearance, which is in part why it is rejected as food ingredient. From its Pleistocene origin, the axolotl is the larva of the Urodela salamander that belongs to the Ambystomatidae family, Greek stoma, snout, and amblis, acute, of which 30 species are known. The axolotl is the Ambystomatidae mexicanum. It measures approximately 30 centimeters, has 4 limbs, very long gills, and a thin, short tail. In its natural habitat, it can live up to 3 years, and under controlled laboratory conditions, up to 25 years. The female axolotl reaches its adult stage between the ages of 12 and 18 months. It can then lay up to 400 eggs. The most remarkable feature of the axolotl is that it remains in its larval stage during its entire life. Its transformation can be induced while in captivity with the use of hormones. Hence, it is of interest to the scientific research community working on tissue, regeneration, and cloning. The axolotl may be considered what Richard Goldsmith called a hopeful monster. And though it is not a mutant, its monstrosity is a result of its physical abnormality. The word hopeful stems from its unique neotenic characteristic and the taste of its meat as a dish for prince. Here we have the description you just heard. This is a red axolotl. This is a statue display at the Museo Nacional de Antropología in Mexico City. After the arrival of the Spaniards in Mexico, the first to give news about the god Axolotl was Fray Bernardino de Sahagún. Axolotl was Quetzalcoatl's twin brother, or his double, but unlike the latter, was deformed and monstrous. He was considered the god of the twins and the abnormal. If Quetzalcoatl was the feather serpent, Axolotl was the monster of water. Moreover, the Axolotl god was associated with the sun, twilight, fire, and lightning. When the gods decided to throw themselves into fire so that the fifth sun would move, the only exception was Axolotl, who escaped and turned into a corn plant. However, after being discovered, he first turned into a maguey plant, his last metamorphosis being an axolotl, the fish. He's ugly but cute. Regarding the axolotl, Fray Bernardino de Sahagún says that it is mainly lean meat, good for vigil, yet it alters mood, and it is bad for continence. Mexican chef and researcher Eduardo Plasencia, somewhat like Sahagún, describes axolotl meat as delicate and with a gelatinous texture. Many Mexican dishes are focused on flavor, not appearance. In some Mexican gastronomic communities, offal foods such as ants, grasshoppers, and brains, all the ones you saw on screen, which are perceived as ugly and unpleasant in appearance, are considered to be a delicacy in the kitchen. This is the case with the axolotl. Disgusting, it becomes a food for princess when prepared in various dishes. Dishes prepared with axolotls may be presented ungarnished as well as covered with sauce, mostly chili sauce. In the Puebla-style axolotl soup, for example, the axolotl appears to swim to those who observe it. Here there's a lady in the popular market in Puebla serving a soup. You can see the axolotl here swimming towards you. As in Tlapique, where corn leaves are open and the axolotl appears bare, or in Xochimilco style fried axolotl. Here's a tlapique or tamale with shredded chicken, in this case, not with axolotl, but it's the same form of preparation. And the fried axolotl, Xochimilco style. Among the axolotl recipes, some of them, such as the tlapique, deserve attention because of its pre-Hispanic cooking process. Tlapique or Tlapique, which in Nahuatl means thin wrap in corn leaves, as well as tamale. Of this latter word comes the Spanish word tamale in English. Unlike tamale, tlapique contains no corn flour, but nor is it stem cooked. It consists of frogs, tadpoles, small fish, and axolotls placed on 3 layers of corn husk. It is wrapped carefully and heated on the griddle until it stops dripping. It includes vegetable, herbs, epazote, vinagrera, prickly pears, and dried chilies. In other dishes, the axolotls is lightly covered with sauce, such as, for example, axolotl in yellow and green chili peppers, axolotl in red broth, and axolotl stew with coconut oil. Now I would like to refer to the concept of incorporation, the principle of incorporation. If for the Mexican gastronomic community, consumption of the axolotl is linked to cultural identity, it should not be attributed solely to nostalgia, which seems to be the view of some critics. Axolotl seems to be believed to express what is perceived as Mexican essential identity. Food is an important factor when it comes to the construction of cultural identity and social practices. However, what also needs to be taken into account is the incorporation principle that communicates the body with the outside world through the mouth. Claude Fischler qualifies the incorporation of substances in foods as real and imaginary. We are what we eat, according to the German refrain. He avers that incorporation is also the basis of collective identity and, by the same token, of otherness. Food and cuisine are a central component of the sense of collective belonging. Thus, the incorporation of food carries the sense of essence in a particular culture. Unlike Baudrillard, for whom the human body is an allegory of the microcosm, in his essay, Feeding the Transcendent Body, Giudice observes that, I quote, "The body is not simple, the screen of which the rampant exchange of information and images is captured. It is rather the battleground on which subjects are constituted, contradictorily desiring and rejecting prescribed representations," end of the quote. By the same token, for the Mexican gastronomic community,